Hey everyone, how's it going? My name is Mundane Matt, and over the course of the weekend, movie-going audiences were given the option of seeing two adaptations, one of which was a adaptation of a kink book based on a Twilight fan fiction written by a house mom from England titled 50 Shades of Grey, which did go on to make over $80 million over the course of the holiday weekend, therefore being the number one movie in America. The other movie, the better movie, the amazing movie, the great movie, is an adaptation of Mark Millar's Kingsman, The Secret Service. Now, if you don't know who Mark Millar is, he also wrote Kick-Ass, the comic book series, not the movie, or movies, really. And so this is another adaptation of one of his works, and I have to say, it is way better than Kick-Ass, and I fucking adore Kick-Ass. So there's that. This is not to be confused with a what I think. This is, I want to talk about a specific thing in the movie that I felt is something that should be discussed. So if you haven't seen the movie, and if you don't know anything about the princess joke, I think it's time you turn off the video. I appreciate you listening this far, but I think for the sake of not spoiling the wonderfulness of the joke, in my opinion, I think that it's best you turn it off. For the rest of you, you know precisely what I'm talking about and just how it plays out. So, okay. So, in the movie, Eggsy is running around, saves a Scandinavian princess, she says, let me out. He says, oh, if I let you out, can I get a kiss? I've never kissed the princess before. She goes, if you get me out, I'll let you do more than that. Oh, well, I've got to go save the world. If you save the world, you can fuck me in my asshole. Right? And that's the joke. That's the big joke. It's kind of referenced in one of the trailers that there's more that will happen if he saves her. Obviously, it's alluding to sex, but the fact is, no, it's fucking anal. It's fucking anal. And the last shot of the movie is her on her fucking stomach, wiggling her ass towards him in first-person view is what we get to see. It's just like, holy shit. They played the joke, and then they took it to the next step, insinuating that it's not even gonna fucking, there's no foreplay. He's just straight gonna fuck her in her bum. And the joke is fantastic in my opinion, because I think it really does play on the last joke from The World Is Not Enough, which if you've seen that movie, congratulations if you've made it through to the end. That, of course, is the one where Denise Richards is a nuclear physicist named Christmas Jones. God, I can't believe I'm saying that out loud, but she is. And at the end of the movie, her and Bond are in kind of a rejuvenation tube, and of course, it only really fits one, so they're playing the vertical game of who can be on top. And he, kind of kisses her passionately and says, "And here I thought Christmas only came once a year." Da-dun, 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 right? See how I did that da-dunce in the Bond thing? Anyway, that's kind of the joke it's playing off of, obviously. Not to mention the fact that Kingsman completely makes fun of the tropes from the Bond films. It makes fun of the tropes from the Bourne movies and even a few other spy movies here and there. It plays up the old 1960s and 70s over-the-top spy films with their crazy villains and that are hell-bent on world domination. And again, this is not a review of the movie, but that's kind of the setup for it. And obviously, that was one of the big draws from back in the day. Look at the way Bond treated women back in the day. Look at how they threw themselves at him back in the day. This was just a complete over-the-top play up of one of those scenarios. I mean, again, the aforementioned The World Is Not Enough, or even going back to any of the Pierce Brosnan Bond movies. He is sleeping with chicks constantly in those movies. That is kind of the allure of the gentleman's spy. That is kind of what they're going for. So looking over at the review of Kingsman from Badass Digest, written by noted anti-gamer-gator Devin Ferrasi, he says, I'd say it's a perfect pop movie until the very end. There's a joke at the end that is such a sour note, it threatens to overwhelm all that went before. I understand what Vaughn is doing with this joke, but it doesn't work, and it will leave a bad taste in most audiences' mouths, especially as it is indistinguishable from some of the Neanderthal sexual politics of the Bond films, which it seems to be spoofing. Remove that joke, and you'd have a movie that works flawlessly from beginning to end. Okay, so that particular quote, that's the last paragraph of his review. Otherwise, it is basically 10 out of 10 perfect movie. he needs to grow up. He needs to grow up. He needs to fucking stop being so oversensitive. This is a guy, by the way, that called Gamergate members worse than ISIS, and he has the balls, the audacity to critique a film in which an anal joke is present and definitely taken advantage of as being like just something that will leave a sour taste in the audience's mouth. I saw it with a rowdy bunch, again, last show of the night. It got to that point, they were hooting, they were hollering, they were cheering, they were laughing, they were clapping, especially the way the movie ended. It actually didn't leave a sour note in anyone's mouths. They were applauding the fact that the film decided to actually kind of step up its game and show the humor instead of just insinuating that it existed, right? I mean, they played up a lot of how these kind of movies are, and I think that the joke works. But people like Devin Ferrasi and people like some of the other comments I've seen on Twitter and other message boards are people that are just so wrapped up in the idea of sexual politics that a joke that is meant to be an over-the-top spoof of an old trope from a literal half century ago as being something that's going to ruin an otherwise perfect experience. Never mind the fact that you have dudes getting sliced up from a girl who had her legs removed and replaced with fucking knives. You all of this other over the top shit, and that's the joke. I mean, listen, these people need to get the fuck over themselves. Sexual humor exists. Yes, it was crass. That was the point, right? The point is that it was crass. It was meant to be. The entire concept of Kingsman, the Secret Service is, okay, Colin Firth has a line in the movie that says, manners maketh the man, right? Being a Kingsman means being a gentleman. Being a gentleman means these things, being polite, being courteous, asking to take a seat, asking all of these things. So here you've got this guy who is a gentleman dressed with a bulletproof suit, which I fucking love, right? He's doing all of these things and trying to do it with class, with style, with grace. And here he's got this princess, this Scandinavian princess, who's like, listen, if you save the world, my balloon knot is open for business. It hits you with just this like gigantic salmon in the face and just makes you fucking take note of everything, of the absurdity of the entire film, and just go, oh, Jesus Christ, and fucking laugh, because that's the joke. But coming at it from the aspect of, oh, well, remove it and the movie is going to be perfect, is ridiculous, right? And once again goes to show you that a person, and again, I'm directly referencing Devin Ferrasi here, a person who has notably referred to people involved in a consumer revolt of whom he disagrees with as terrorists, Klansmen, plantation owners, and even worse, and yet has the balls to say that, oh, we're moving a joke about anal sex, and that's obviously going to be the thing that saves your movie, right? Fuck that guy. Here's a little funny tidbit, though. The passcode to get into the room is 2625, right? Well, if you put that to the alphanumerical key, it's ANAL. There's a little bit of an inside joke for you there. So the passcode to get into her room is anal, which is exactly what he got at the end of the movie. Fuck, I love this movie. It's so goddamn funny. Let me know your thoughts on this one. Do you think people are overreacting, getting upset at the joke? Do you think the joke itself goes too far? I'm definitely curious to know your thoughts on this. My name, of course, is Mundane Matt. If you haven't seen Kingsman and you listen to this video, do yourself a favor, go fucking watch it. And please, thumbs up the video if you like the content. This way, my content still appears in your sub box. And also subscribe, because I'm awesome. You know it. I know it. We all know it. Anyway, I'll see you later. Peace out.